Welcome back to another showing, another exhibit of the Horror Gallery. Today, continuing the Twilight Zone from the 80s. We kicked it off with Bruce Willis, and now we're kicking it off with A Little Peace and Quiet. Know nothing about this, haven't seen a single frame, besides what we just watched with the Bruce Willis episode. And so far, it's been good.
Yeah, that was definitely a good first segment, so this is the second segment of the first episode, so I'm excited to just get jumping in. Okay, got a new writer, James Crocker. Still Wes Craven.
I already love this moody lighting for this early morning.
Yeah, this moody early morning suburban lighting.
What? What's happening? What's going on? What is it?
Turn down that racket.
Go back to sleep.
Yeah, easy for you to say.
That's the mom from Christmas Story.
Look at that, now we've seen both parents from the Christmas Story and other stuff.
Hopefully they can reunite in another...
Outside property?
Yeah.
That was a hideous comforter, by the way. A deep blue comforter? Come on.
Quit it, and then put these around, okay? You have coffee cake this morning.
I love having a pitcher. Just drinks come out of a pitcher.
Classic.
Now everything's plastic containers.
Microplastics and...
Clean it up, Janet. Why don't you clean it up? You're in charge of the juice.
Janet, clean it up.
4 kids? Is that a snake?
Look.
Kids have more courage than me.
Why don't you go put it under your pillow?
Bro just caught that in the yard?
I like that touch that the girls don't scream. With this episode called Peace and Quiet, and the whole gimmick that everything's loud, I totally expected.
Yeah.
Seeds in my shoes, huh? You know, when I suggested you plant a garden so we could grow our own vegetables, I did not mean for you to plant them in my closet.
Oh, the bacon. Russ.
Oh yeah, the classic.
Sorry, but that's your territory. I'm sorry.
You don't have to fix it.
The useless husband. Just turn it off. Ah!
I gotta go to the office at all times.
Yeah, we'll be back in 14 hours.
Oh no!
We'll turn off.
Oh, well, that's all ruined now.
Oh.
Oh, they think it's fucking funny.
Penny, this thing, I don't know how to fix it.
Oh, she's about to pull out a shotgun. Just take them all out.
Wouldn't it be nice if once in a while everyone would just shut up and stop pestering you?
Yep.
If you had the power, would you dare to use it, even knowing that silence may have voices of its own in the Twilight Zone?
Just snuck it in there at the end of the Twilight Zone.
This might be the most relatable Twilight Zone episode ever. Just all real life pet peeves and inconveniences.
Real life is just as bad as the Twilight Zone. That looks familiar.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's cocaine.
The house used to be owned by a drug mule. When the cops came, he buried it. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Gotta love the immediate acceptance. Like, just find a box buried in your backyard. Oh, a necklace, just wears it.
My mind would go, how much is this worth?
I want him.
Get the kids some chocolate poppers. Your own business.
Thank you, dude. I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, the classic. Not the cans. Right in the middle of the aisleway.
Bro, you're just purposely knocking him over at that point. You know, the first 1 or 2 times, all right, but then he was just pushing him over.
I wonder if it was supposed to have a bigger fall, and now that actor's like, oh.
Yeah. Beforehand, the director was like, Craven was like, we can only do 1 take. I'm not setting these back up.
Both sides accuse the other of not really being serious about reducing their stockpiles of nuclear weapons.
Kidding, no, enough of that.
Let's find some uncopyrighted music to play.
Now where's it? Where's my Cindy Lauper record? Way to go, Birdie.
Honey, look.
Oh, the worst when the kid does something then starts crying. It's like, you did it and you're fine. Stop.
Like, you're not hurt at all.
Hey, honey, Look, I asked you to sew this. I had to leave right after dinner tonight. You know, I got softball practice. Now, you know that.
Softball practice.
Remember? You don't need to.
This is your worst nightmare.
This is literally my worst nightmare.
Bertie? Oh, my. Well, this can't be. Start talking.
Are you gonna do it now or not?
Just immediately comes to terms with it.
Yeah, true.
Please, come on.
Oh, this is gonna end in some disaster. I can already tell.
She stated that both should, quote, set their petty concerns aside and get down to the serious business at hand. Both sides were threatening to show.
So I think she's obviously going to accidentally demand something ridiculous. Necklace falls off into the drain or the ocean or something. Lost forever.
I thought it was going to be, yeah, just similar to the stopwatch Twilight Zone episode where it just stops working for no, she drops it or something. But your thing makes sense too. She loses it.
Now, were people on that TV set confused for a bit?
I was wondering that.
Does the whole world stop?
It even stopped the orange juice.
Oh, look at that. How do they do that? Just a plastic piece of
A
plastic?
prop, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the tide, too. Yeah.
Don't everybody talk at once.
Or if it pauses the whole world. Someone working on a nuclear reactor pauses, can't flip the whatever switch.
But wouldn't it stop everything? Including the reactor?
Shit.
But I'm also wondering, did she there also say, shut up? Because she said shut up, like, and the orange juice would stop, so...
Yeah.
My kids have been asking for Choco Poppers all week. This one's mine.
Oh, yeah? Well, maybe you better just shut up.
No, it's just shut up, okay.
Think she's just going to walk out? Not pay for it?
51. Now. Oh, yeah.
No, that's a decent chunk.
Oh, do it.
Oh my god. Is she gonna...
Bro, she's about to blow him.
Cute.
Only if she was lucky enough for him to have been erect when she froze it.
Hi. What do you want?
Don't worry, we're not here to sell you anything.
No, of course you're not. What do you want?
Looks like they're anti-nuke people.
The future of the world's at stake here, ma'am. But if people like yourself don't start taking an interest...
People like myself.
Yes. You don't understand.
Shut up.
Those two are the physical manifestations of Twitter. Do better!
Also, when she starts it again, are they just gonna... She just disappeared to them? Oh my god, she said choke her out!
Imagine just like a blink of a second, just all of a sudden you're talking to someone and then you're just on your back. Oh my god, she's gonna run him over?
I probably assume that I was punched or something, like, because that would probably make you lose a second of your memory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, she's a gardener. I think she's gonna bury him alive.
Oh my god.
And then start time. Talk about just like a second.
Oh my god.
Just like you're standing there talking about just...
Yeah, all of a sudden you're just suffocating.
We're talking.
People like yourself have to become involved.
I just think she was a witch or something.
What happened?
I don't know.
Come on.
No, wait.
They really probably ran out of budget or didn't have the time to get good actors, I'm guessing. That guy probably didn't go far, if I had to guess.
Got it. I can't
Penny?
believe this is happening.
Come in.
What?
Now, come here. Come here.
We've just had a confirmation the first Soviet missile will reach the U.S. airspace. Nuclear war has just broken out. Soviet missiles have entered U.S. airspace.
Mommy, what is it?
Not now.
Go to bed.
That's honestly probably what I would do.
Shut up! Shut up!
Now is your plan to find the exact moment or the exact pinpoint location where it's going to land, go there, watch it come down right before it's about to hit. Shut up, and then grab it out of the sky, get on a plane, fly it over to Russia, whew, drop it.
I don't think that would solve it. Just throwing it on Russia, they'd probably have more.
And now she's like, oh, the only way that I can keep the world alive
is for everyone to be frozen.
Oh, man.
But it's interesting because it's not like she caused this in any way.
No.
It's just coincidence.
It's just a horrible situation. It's like either death or live alone forever. Is that an accident about to happen right there?
Yeah, about to hit someone.
Remember that stupid Frozen challenge everyone was doing like 8 years ago?
Oh, the
the mannequin
song?
Yeah, the mannequin challenge.
Obviously, she hasn't heard of it.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Little nod there.
Ugh.
Is that what it would look like? You can just see the Soviet logo on it. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, so literally that was it. Just if she starts it, they're all dead, so...
Yeah, I find it crazy that so far these two segments, like, it's not really... sometimes a lot of the original Twilight Zone, it was like a punishment of what the character did or who their character was. You know what I mean? Like their shortcomings or faults, and then the result of their fate has to do with that. But like this, just like, that was going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
It's just a horrible situation she's caught in, and we don't even get to see like what she chooses. It's like, well, there it is.
And she can't accidentally ever say, start talking. Oh, the Grateful Dead.
Oh,
did
wow.
The title theme. Okay, that's
Cool.
interesting. Yeah, this one I'm it's a thinker. This one I'm gonna have to think about overall. Melinda Dillon, who played Penny, I thought did a great job, and not as much as the Bruce Willis one, but this still is very focused and dependent on her and her performance. If she was bad, you know, it would have been bad. We did have a couple bad performances with those activists at her door. I thought they were terrible. Whatever, they don't matter. But yeah, I liked the gimmick. My worry at first was the stopwatch episode of the original Twilight Zone. Have you ever seen that one?
It's coming to it's ringing a bell.
Basically, he gets a stopwatch. Every time he hits it, stops time, hits it again, starts time. Spoiler if you haven't seen that one. But at the end, he stops time and then he accidentally drops it and it breaks. So it no longer works. So as he's hitting it, he can no longer start time again and he's stuck in a stop time scenario. My worry at first was that this was just going to be a retelling of that, but switching the elements a little bit. Because at first when she said stop talking, I was like, oh, this is like that, but a little bit of a twist where it's not just about stopping time, but just stopping noise. And just stopping like all the noise going on. That's what it's set up. But then it just became the same thing as the stopwatch, except instead of hitting a stopwatch, she just vocally is saying shut up. So I thought that was like, it's just going to be the same thing where something happens to the necklace and then she can't start it again. So then I was surprised by that ending. The twist actually was nice, although like you said though, thematically, it's kind of like, okay, so then what are we saying here? Like, what's the point? Because now she just becomes a bystander who happens to have this crazy thing happen right before the day they get nuked.
Yeah. And it does end so abruptly. I wonder if like if it had more time and like as things go on, she like, because she's so like noise, I can't deal with the noise. And then if we see like a long progression to where she hasn't heard a thing and she's just dying to hear someone's voice again, and we see her like, oh, the one thing she wants, the one thing she wanted to get rid of, and if she wants that again, the world ends.
Yeah.
So either way, everyone else, they're fucked.
Yeah.
It's either they're stuck in perpetual nothingness, or the world ends.
I mean, with this being the 80s, you know, and with, you know, the Cold War and everything, it makes sense. I'm not surprised that this showed up here so early on in the series. Maybe that's the point, is that it's so out of left field and she can't control it. Because when it comes to nuclear weapons, we've talked about it before. You know, the reason that I don't want to say like am uncomfortable with it, but the reason I try not to think about it too much is that it's literally out of my control. Like, there's nothing I can do as an individual. And so like the scene with the activists there, like, if people like you don't start doing stuff. Granted, this was almost 40 years ago. So maybe at that time, I don't know, I wasn't alive yet. Maybe at that time something could be done. But like now, there's nothing that can be done from like the point of like eliminating all nukes. Like that's just not going to happen. And so I try not to think about it because it's like literally out of your control, and I feel like all the other characters besides her in this story, where it's like, okay, well, if it happens, it happens, and we're dead, so whatever. I'm not gonna think about it. You know, you might think that's a bury your head in the sand, you know, mindset about it, and you know, I'm open to have a conversation about it, but it's just that's how I feel. So for this to happen, it's kind of like a little bit more in your face, where it's in the background. Like we see the news report, the activists, you know, and then it happens, and then. I think the radio too, when they're first like talking about it, that's what they're talking about is like the tensions of the war, and then she's like, oh, and just changes it to music, like trying to ignore it.
Oh, okay.
She's trying to ignore it this whole episode, and then at the end it's like, it doesn't matter if you try to ignore it. Like, you don't have control. Even someone who can stop time, you don't have control if this happens. All she can do is stop it.
You don't think it's trying to say, well, you had the tools to do it, and you chose not to, because she could have froze time, walked a long time, took a rowboat over to the Soviet Union, and just went door to door trying to find where the nukes are hidden. Like,
I don't think that's what they were saying. That's what I'm taking from it anyway. Is maybe I'm giving them too much credit, the writers too much credit, but it feels like, oh, you think the story's going to go this way. You think you've seen this story before. But no, now it's just everyone's getting nuked, and there's nothing they can do. So I appreciate it for that. It's definitely a thinker in that regard. You know, definitely interesting for like a nuke story or like a Cold War story. Definitely an interesting twist. The thing you said about you wish there was a scene where they established the rules. I definitely would have liked to have seen something in that vein. I don't know necessarily in terms of like, I don't need to know everything it can and can't do, but like, for example, when everything's frozen, like the orange juice is frozen. The orange juice, right, was suspended, frozen. If she had gone over and went like this, like, would her hand go through the orange juice? Would it affect it? You know, because she could take the cereal box from that one woman. Or like, if she got into a car and started it, would it start? Like, those are the things I'm more curious about. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, just sub out, because I feel like there was a lot of just noise, like so much to the point like, okay, I get it, that's the gimmick. And also a little bit too much of, oh, everything, frozen, I can freeze, unfreeze, and just, because I got it to the point like, okay, I get it, like, to the point where like, when is the other shoe going to drop? When is like the problem going to start? And it doesn't happen until like the end of the episode. You know what I mean? So I feel like we could have subbed some of that out and just plugged in a little more like establishment of what this thing is. I don't need the backstory of the medallion. Oh, this house was owned by a Native American sundial. You know what I mean? I don't need to know that. But I do love the ending, though. I do, because I was totally expecting she drops it down the sewer. She gets punched in the throat and can't talk. So
something happens.
Yeah, she can't say keep talking or something. Even though she probably just write down a piece of paper, say start talking, and put it over her husband or something. But her husband probably be too distracted by something. I'm surprised he even caught that the world was ending.
Get softball practice. It sounds like we're being a little bit more negative on this one, but I do want to say I wouldn't put this much lower than the Bruce Willis one. Like, I think both of these were very solid. I do like the Bruce Willis one a bit more, but I think they were both very good. And I've said in the past, like, jokingly about the original Twilight Zone, like, if there's any Twilight Zone episodes about war that I might like, please let me know. And like, this isn't about war explicitly, but it's about as close as it's gotten for one that I've liked. Like, there's war element. The Cold War is a thing. It's a thing, Alex. And, but
is it?
It's not. You know, we're not following a soldier.
It's not a soldier in the forest or in the woods somewhere. It's what I really like about these two is how not on the nose and not like confirming what's happening. It doesn't over-explain things. It lets you, like, you leave it talking about it more. Instead of being like, oh, that's what happened. It's like, oh, it could have been this. Is it a metaphor for this? Could this represent that? What do you think happened? You know, that's what I love. It's not too like, oh my God, I can live forever. That's great. Oh no, I get sentenced to prison for life. You know. I like that episode, but you know what I mean? It just ends with her looking up at the nuke and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. It's like, and you could, as a general smart viewer, I can tell, oh, okay, she's in this perpetual state of never hear anyone talk again or anyone interact or the world ends. And in both situations, the world's ending anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
yeah,
I love that.
For sure. And it's just funny, this is the last thing I'll say, is like, it's funny how, I don't know if it's just because of how time works or anything, but with this being 40 years ago, I feel like I'm so cynical and negative now that, like, you know, when the Jordan Peele hosted Twilight Zone was coming out, like, I was instantly like, eye roll, like, ugh, here we go, it's gonna be terrible. And then, like, I watched, like, I think 2 episodes or something, and I'm like, no, I'm not watching this. And then it got canceled, you know, after a couple seasons. But it's like this one, I feel like, you know, you guys can let us know how you guys felt if you were there, you know, either in your childhood or even a little bit older when this came out in the 80s. Was that the vibe? You know, was it like, oh, they're redoing the Twilight Zone, they don't even have Rod Serling anymore? Because, like, watching this one, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. Like, you know, but we're 40 years removed from it now.
Yeah, and the 80s was a big, like, remake time. The Fly, The Thing, this, you know, this is like, the 80s was probably the first era of, like, the first, like, reboots coming out. And I wonder what people's thoughts were about that. Were they looking back like, oh, this was already a thing? Or The Fly? Yeah, that's already a movie. The Thing from Another World. I'd love to know their perspective on it. I'd like to know, like, when it first happened, where people are like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, and not even just, like, with the modern ones coming out now, like, even growing up, like, when this was on TV, you know, like Chiller, I would remember going to Chiller and seeing, like, oh, the Twilight Zone, and being like, oh, is it the original Twilight Zone? And going, and it's, like, this version, or there's also an early 2000s version, I think, either late 90s or early 2000s, and, like, when it was another one being like, oh, you know, like, already just dismissing it as a remake, you know, then. So I don't know if I'm now, just as an adult, I appreciate 80s stuff more. I don't know, but yeah, I am interested in that.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, when the fascination of the 80s is ever going to end, because I feel like the whole world for the past 20 years has just been romanticizing the 80s with, like, TV shows and all that. I mean, when do we start romanticizing the 90s, man?
I think it has started a little bit, but, you know, honestly, I think my favorite, at least over this past, like, couple of months we've been watching this stuff, honestly, I think the 70s might even be my favorite.
I was going to say, I think the 70s, especially 70s horror, I feel like there's some real good gems that we can find in that crazy decade.
Yeah, because, like, we you know, I've seen older stuff, obviously, but, like, I feel like the 80s is really my cutoff of stuff I have seen a lot of. Like, there's a lot of 80s stuff I haven't, but there's also a lot of 80s stuff I have. Mm-hmm. The 70s, it's like, I could probably count on my hand, you know, how many, I mean, that's before a lot of stuff, in horror, but and everything else, too, so.
Yeah. And
it's like the one decade that barely had any Star Trek. It's just a funny coincidence, but, okay, well, let us know what you guys thought of this one. What episode of the Twilight Zone 80s should we watch next year at the Horror Gallery?